Hello, this is JB Worship, or yeah, it's my YouTube channel. But those of you who know me, I'm JB. Uh, I wanted to make a video series whenever I have time, just amidst my busy schedule. Just from what I was thinking is that a lot of friends who I've taught guitar and other instruments in the past, and currently I'm serving at a church called Light of Love, where I'm discipling middle school students in worship and middle school and high school students in worship, and just the worship atmosphere and how to create different tones of atmosphere, and how to just pretty much instrumentals in worship, how to be a worship musician, and serving through a ministry called Undignified, in a worship ministry. Just in the past 6-8 years ish of leading worship, of being a part of different worship teams. I might not have credentials or a degree in this stuff, but I was able to create kind of my own curriculum, so to speak, of how to get started or to improve in a worship atmosphere and worship music. So yeah, for those of you who have who always ask me questions, or who maybe thought about asking me or whatever, or if those of you who kind of, I guess, trust my way of doing things, this is for you. And so let's get started. On the guitar for this video, I'm going to start just by reviewing with how to strum, just 3 basic strum patterns that'll get you started right away, as well as just chords that you want to get started with. For those of you who've never touched the guitar, if you want to get started, I'll just briefly recap, and it'll be really fast though, so you might have to rewind. Alright, so the strings of the guitar to review are E, A, D, G, B, and E. One more time. E, A, D, G, B, and E. And I'm going to start with the key of G progression. To get started, having a capo is handy, so you can change the key. What that really means is if a song is too low or too high for you, you can move this thing down to what are called frets. These frets are markers for you to remember to where to place your finger for chords. So again, the G progression, what that means is you're going to play chords that are consistent with the key of G. I'm going to explain. Start with the G chord. 3rd fret, middle finger. 2nd fret, A string. D string, open it, just no fingers there. G string, no fingers there. 3rd fret, B string, and 3rd fret, E string, high E string. That's called the G chord. So I like calling this like the church chords, because on the internet, if you look for the same chords, they're gonna show you a little bit differently. Simplified, every chord consists of at least 3 notes. For the G chord, it's the G, B, and D. It's what's called the G Triad. If these words make no sense to you, just know that a chord on a guitar or whatever it is, the reason why those finger patterns make sense is because the different notes that make up the chord are consistent with those notes make up that chord. So in the case of G chord, it has to have G, B, and D notes. So if you notice, that's G, that's B, that's D, that's G again, that's D, and that's G. That's why, because they're playing those G, B, and D notes. On the internet, you might see it's the same thing, except this D is actually just a B, which is the same as, they're the same note, just different octave. So anyway, that's that. So let's get started with the G chord. And then I like using this finger pattern because these 2 fingers, if you move them down, you enter into the C chord. And then if you put these 2 fingers both moving up to the 2nd fret, and then what I do is I change them, because just usually in the guitar world, people play E minor this way. This is called the E minor chord. And then your fourth chord is called the D chord. And I like to keep these two fingers, pinky and ring finger, still. That's why this progression is usually very, it's taught first for most people, I think, in church, especially in Korean American churches. It's because it's easy to transition between different chords. G, again, C, E minor, and D. Okay. What I did there is I put my middle finger on the second fret and let go of my pinky. With D chord, you have that option. In future videos, I'll talk about what's called sus chords, which is what this is. But for now, just know that this is G, C, E minor, D. And lastly, for this video, I'm going to go into strum patterns. Okay, if you just know those 4 chords, I recommend you try practicing transitioning between 4 chords by counting. Always count in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Faster. Once you get that down, practice about 10 times each beat, each tempo, which means speed. And then you can go faster and faster, and once you get that down, it'll be easier and easier for you to do that. Lastly, again, the strum patterns. There's different what's called time signatures that I want to go into this video. Most worship songs are usually 4/4 or 6/8. 4/4 or 6/8 or 3/4. So these numbers, if they make no sense, I'm just going to show you. I'll use about 4 songs to illustrate. How Great Is Our God and Blessed Be Your Name are both what I like to call 4/4 songs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How great is our God? Sing with me. How great is our God? Oh, we'll see how great is our God. Okay, so if you kept counting 1, 2, 3, 4 the whole time, you would notice each chord change is consistent with a 4 count. You can even count to 8, and it would be the same thing. So what I did there was, if you just rewind back to this part again and again to view, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. If you notice, my hands are not going, but I control my strum. It's not big strokes every time. It's small, small, big, small, 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 big, small, 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 big, small. That's important because you want to create dynamic with your strumming. Okay. Second, time signature, the 3/4, or you can also call it 6/8 if you want to be specific. But I'll call it the 3/4 for now because I'm going to count in threes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So think of songs like How He Loves and Reckless Love. How He loves us, oh how He loves us, oh how He loves us, oh how He loves us, yeah He loves us, oh how He loves us. Take an example. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God, how it chases me down. So if you notice, they all follow a 1, 2, 3 count. Whether it's 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you want to be specific, you can look up time signatures, you can look up the song yourself on the internet. But for simplicity's sake on this video, I'm just going to go over things like that. So yeah, that's it for this first video. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Hopefully you understood. And if you have any other questions, please leave a comment, or you can message me directly if you know who I am, more personally. All right, good luck.